back to episode 2 of the fish room build out. So last episode I did the air system and I got everything all set up. You can see all the tanks are, let me get out the way so we can focus, there you go. Tanks have air. Today's video is, I'm gonna be doing water changes on these 340 breeders and keeping them drained and then moving this rack back a bit. And then I'm going to take the 20-gallon rack that's right behind you guys over here, and it's gonna go in this spot over here. This 20 is gonna go on that rack, and then the 20 that's on my old rack here is gonna go on that rack as well. So today's gonna be a lot of water changing. I'm not gonna show you guys all of that. I'm sure you guys know what water changes look like, but I will show me moving the racks and getting everything in place. So stay tuned and enjoy. Okay, so you guys probably can't tell, but I didn't move the rack back. I didn't record it just because, not that, it wasn't, I had to do it myself. And this is very heavy. Those that keep fish tanks know that even this little bit of water in each tank is maybe like 2 to 3 inches of water, but in 40-gallon breeders, that's a lot. It's a lot of weight. Thankfully, I was able to just shift it back, so now it is where I want it to go. Next step is to remove this airline right here that is going to the 20-gallon that's on my old rack. Remove that airline real quick, get the new rack into place, and then start moving the fish from this 20 long into, I gotta start moving fish around. So I'm gonna get to that. We'll do a little time lapse of that also, so just enjoy. Okay guys, so the 20-gallon rack is kind of in place. Only issue I am facing now that I didn't take into account is right here where my ball valve that I do the water changes on, it's hitting the stand. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of quick thinking, see how I can make it so that this stand, because I do want to push the stand back more, maybe, or I might just make them flush with one another. So this one here would have to come up a little bit, and maybe just make them flush with one another. But I gotta see exactly how that's gonna work out. So yeah, let me try and see what I can figure out, and I'll let you guys know. Alrighty, so problem kind of solved. So this 40-gallon here on top, I just shifted it over a bit because I do have some extra space here, because obviously in between these two tanks is gonna be the 60-gallon, but it's the same footprint as a 40. And it should kind of, I kind of gonna have them line up perfectly, one right next to another, so that works out. This one here, I'm gonna shift this way also, that way it's kind of just 3 tanks right next to each other. And I do have access here. It's a little tight, but I have access to my water change ball valve here. Unfortunately for the goldfish tank that's down here, it is very tight. Move the potos. It's very tight under here. And once the 20-gallon goes here, I am going to lose access to this ball valve here, which sucks, but I do have pumps that I could use for my water changes, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, I've got to take this 20 long and that 20 long, get them onto this rack here. But before I do that, I have, if you notice in between all the tanks, there's something purple here, that is insulation. I use that kind of just to level out the tanks in a sense, or just to help relieve any pressure points if there is anything uneven with the wood that the 2x4s I use for the stand. I do have them pre-cut. They're over here, you see right there, and these are the other 20 gallons that are going to go in here. So let me get those up and show you how it looks. Alrighty, so the 20-gallon that was here is now moved up there, or at least the fish are moved into this 20-gallon. That was the tank that was here. Now I've got to take this 20-gallon, put it up there, The two that are up there are painted black right now. These that are the four here, are these three plus this one, are not yet, but they will get painted black, the backs and the bottoms. That way you cannot see the styrofoam underneath. You see here, it's a little hazy because I just did a water change. I did add the old tank water in there, so that's why it's a little murky, because there was some mold in there, but keep that beneficial bacteria going in the cycle. Next, I have to drain this tank, put the fish and everything into 5-gallon buckets for now, bring the tank up there along with the styrofoam insulation in between, put it up there, fill it up, same thing. And right now I am filling up the goldfish tank. I'll be filling up these 40 breeders here. This tank is empty right now. And then I might, if I have the chance, move this whole rack with these tanks. This is my quarantine section here, right here. So this little rack is gonna be for my quarantine 10 gallons, along with my little live food 5.5 gallon. I have live blackworms in there and some Daphnia. I may move this over here and then just take this stuff and put it elsewhere. But we'll see if we can get to that tonight. For now, I do want to obviously finish filling up these tanks and moving that 20 gallon onto that rack there. So let me just get back to work and show you guys after. Okay, so as you guys saw in that little time lapse, I very unsafely, but safely at the same time, moved that 20 long from here on this old rack to here. So you kind of see the start, what I was talking about, how I want them really close to one another. Tank's bubbly right now because again I just did a like almost 95% water change. This one's getting a pretty big water change too. And I also threw out a bunch of the floating plants. They grow like mad in that tank, so I just wanted to, you know, thin it out so I can actually see the fish a little bit better. I have Salvinia minima and dwarf water lettuce, or just regular water lettuce. I don't know what kind it is, but I know I have it in there and it grows crazy. Next step is going to be to take this rack here, move it out the way, and quite possibly move this. I'm not too sure if I'll have time to do that today, but this is pretty much going to be the look of the fish room. You've got your 40 gallons here, 20 gallons there, and I have another tank that's going here. That's kind of a little surprise for you guys. I'll tell you guys maybe in one of the next videos. But yeah, this is pretty much what it looks like. I'm gonna finish filling up that tank there, and I have to drill a couple more holes for some air, the sponge filters to go over there, so I'm gonna get to doing that also. And that'll pretty much be the end of the video if you don't see a clip of me moving this little rack with the 10 gallons, so yeah. All right, guys, so this is it. I was able to, I only shifted this over a little bit to where there's no tanks, only because I don't have an extension long enough to go from here down and around over to this corner. So for now I have the heaters for these two plugged in there, as well as the little bubbler right here plugged in over there. Temporary situation, this will go into that corner there. But this is the end of the second episode of the fish room build out. The next episode is more than likely, it's either going to be painting the bottoms and backs of these tanks and cutting the styrofoams, putting that in place. Same thing with these two tanks here, the 60 and the 40, that are actually currently outside water testing. Obviously these are secondhand tanks, so I wanted to make sure that they hold water. So far so good, fingers crossed. If those guys last up until maybe Saturday or Sunday, they will get drained and put in place over here, and then hopefully I can find an extension cord long enough to go from that receptacle here, these outlets, down through the back and over here, so then I can shift this and put this sitting like this so that the tanks will be this way here. It'll be my little quarantine section there. And then, yeah, so after the painting and stuff like that, then I also have my lighting video. Like I mentioned before, the lights that are on these tanks right now, this is all temporary. I actually got in my lighting, which is right here. These are the LED lights I was telling you about that you can link together. You can see, let's see here, that they are linked together and they all can run on one power cord. There is, I believe, 3 power cords or 2 if I'm not mistaken. So I may have to run these top section one, bottom section another, and then these. I'm not exactly too sure how I'm gonna work these guys, but these guys will get these lights as well. The lights here, these are 3 feet long. So for the 40 gallons, it'll be perfect. For the 20 gallons, it will be a little long, but that's okay. I may just suspend them, maybe like put like a little bracket this way and just suspend them over the tanks here. Under here, I can just screw them into the wood there. But yeah, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. I didn't do this in the last video, but like, comment, subscribe. If you want to keep up with all of my fishy adventures, everything that I do with fish, you know, traveling to fish stores, or I am a part of a couple fish clubs, so maybe I'll get some clips or videos of me going to those. And then again, surprise tank for this section right here. But yeah, I'm mumbling now, so like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.